Welcome everybody, it's General Pustski and let's have some fun in a 3v1 scenario. In here we have Ethiopian Empire, Good Hope and Arabia. We basically started expanding quite normally, and then we decided that I will conquer Europe and they will conquer Africa and then go towards Asia, and I will go to South America. Luckily I was able to conquer Europe much faster than they could do with their stuff. I was able to conquer South America. So long story short, there was a big discrepancy for quite a week before they caught up to me, and the idea of having a 3v1 came to idea, because otherwise it wouldn't be fun. When it comes to strength, individually I'm better than all of them. However, as three of their nations, it will be or should be quite a challenge. Three of those nations have more points than I do. They have way better economy than I do, or let's say similar amount of units. Let's get to the fun part of seeing what type of units they have. Now if you want to see or detect the enemy armies, like I did, it's very simple. You put your spies on military sabotages in random provinces, so you have a very high chance of detecting all of your armies. Usually you have to pay 12,000 gold. You don't have to waste gold on that. Simply 50k of dollars can get you the job done. Don't put it in cities, because usually people are placing anti-spies in the cities. And also, key factor, the provinces or random provinces cannot have any upgrades, which means if they have any buildings, railroads, fortresses or whatever, the military sabotage will mainly target the buildings instead of actually detecting the armies, which means that I place 5 of the spies and then I can detect all armies. Previously I've done it with Arabia, so I knew what I can expect about 5 days ago, so how can I prepare for this? Similarly, I've done it against Ethiopia. Now Ethiopia is coming with kind of brutal force in here, because they have 21 heavy mechs, 22 medium mechs, all on the highest level, mechanized infantries, and 3 flying fortresses level 5. One thing, please never do that. Never split your destroyers, unless you want to, of course, gain knowledge and you have, for example, a secured entrance, so you can have a lot of vision, so that the destroyers. So Arabia is doing good when it comes to here. However, if I would have my entire fleet, then I can just basically one-shot them. And in Iron Order, if you can enter a fight and, for example, the submarines are doing 50 damage, for example, and the destroyer has 40 HP, for example, so as soon as he contacts, he kills the destroyer immediately, and he doesn't have to wait for the reload. Same for artilleries it goes. So if an artillery can fire and then kill immediately with one shot, which means if the attacking points are exceeding the HP points of an enemy unit, he doesn't have to wait another hour for a reload. He shoots after 10 seconds. So this is a very key factor, and why artillery is really very, very useful in Iron Order. So fighting 3 people is basically, you are doomed from the start if you try to prepare against any or all of the units in all of the type of combats. So I had to put it to the bin, trying to outmatch them in, for example, naval combat. I don't care that they can see what I have. For me, there's not much I can do about it. I might use my fleet, but it's just the level 1 units, so they are not as good. And if I get Twangled, then of course they outnumber me, and they can do torpedo boats, and I can be outproduced pretty quickly. So I can only use it, or I will only use it as a surprise, and maybe afterwards if I clear every air unit around, and maybe I can do land ships and support my navy with fire from the seashores. But let's not get into so deep into that. Firstly, the army of Ethiopia. Now Arabia has even more units of melee combat, of mechanized troops, but they have also invested in naval carriers, quite advanced, quite a lot of bombers as well, 25 bombers, and I'm sure that he's got a lot hidden behind. So like I said, if I would like to outdo them in all of the units, I would fail. So I had to focus on just one branch. Basically, my strength, or my idea, was to have as many anti-mech units as possible. I had to skip medium mechs, I had to skip heavy mechs, I had to skip most of the units, and simply have a lot of units of one quality, sorry. Now this is a 3v1 situation, so I know that Czechoslovak and Morocco and Russian America are there as my coalition members. However, they are not participating in this fight. I simply wanted to avoid fighting on all fronts, and it would be more difficult for me, and I wanted to have basically one. The rule of the fight is very simple. If they have to take over the Balkan area and the Russian area, if they do that, they have won. They don't need to beat my army, they just have to take this area. Whereas on the other point, and of course I cannot move into their homeland and whatnot. So it's a very concise area of Balkan area and Russian area. On the other hand, what they have to do is not get killed in the meantime. So the moment I kill all of their armies is of course the end of the game. So because I knew what type of units roughly they are operating with for about a week, I was able to spam a lot of units. So of course I prepared mainly 69 70 hunter mechs, 55 anti-mech guns, and I don't have, as a one nation, I don't have the luxury of having such huge technological advancement, so I had to narrow it down to motorized infantries, commandos level 5, AMGs level 7, hunter mechs level 7, land ships is level 4, my flying fortress is not even level 5 because I didn't have time for that, interceptors are level 4, bombers are level 7, my navy totally abandoned, of course, and my anti-air units are not even level 5, they are level 4 with scouts. So immediately I recognized their issues. First and foremost, they don't have scouts at level 7. One tip: if you have commandos, a lot of people are thinking that they are overpowered. I'd only done them because they have kind of a good damage ratio against damage and heavy. I didn't use them even as a unit which is hiding in the dark and can take the provinces behind your back. So, but if your enemy doesn't have scouts at level 7, he will not detect them. So a level 4 scout is not going to detect a level 5 commando, for example. He has to have a level 7 which has the envisionment of level 3, because otherwise the scout has a level 2 and a commando has a level 3 of hitting, which means even though I'm standing right next to them, they don't see this unit. So the moment they will hit any of my airports or my units, they will go, I will wait, they will go back to reload or to refuel, and they will lose most of their units if they don't protect it accordingly. Now, they have done a good job of having a level 3 airbase, which gives them a lot of refuelment, but this is a beginner level, let's say, because ideally you want a level 5 fortress and level 3 airbase, because you can plant level or 6 or 12 anti-air guns which have a lot of defense against a unit. Now this is just 124 defense, so it's not gonna kill you an entire 1300. The firestorm will hit and will obliterate, but what it does, it gives you a bit of time for protection of the units inside of this area, and it makes your airport not to be killed immediately. So when the firestorm is killing the buildings, he does so gradually, destroying firstly the fortress, a little bit of airbase. If you just have the airbase, all the damage goes into airbase and it's very easy to destroy it. Another thing, if you're using air units, then of course you need to base yourself around a lot of airports around the area and not only fire from one airport, because it's much harder to target and split, or for the enemy to split and attack those airports. If you just put them into one airport, then it's very easy to target. So I got many airports all around. A lot of them are with level 6 anti-air guns. If he wishes to attack or patrol above it, then he will take damages. And the idea is quite simple. I cannot fight and be stuck in fighting. In Iron Order, you have to figure a way to basically kill as fast as possible a enemy stack and move forward. So do whatever Napoleon was doing in Italy. When he was fighting an outnumbered armies of Austria and Sardinia, he was outnumbered if those armies would combine together. But if he can beat one army individually and move fast enough to the other army to beat him, then he outnumbers both of them 2-1. Similarly is same in here. I want to have my hunter mechs ready and as if they are split. I'm trying to keep them hidden. They have 1000 or 2000 damage. If I split stacks of 6, I have 4 stacks. Each of them is doing 274 damage with one shot against mechanized troops. As he has only mechanized troops, it will go all against mechanized troops, which means just one hit of these 4 stacks, if I split them into 6 units, will do about 1200 damage. And then of course there is the defensive damage, which is 200, and then there's of course another damage. So roughly I should be able to basically within 2 hours kill at least one of this stack. This should give me time for the other units to get twinkled in a fight, and then I move all of the units and then again eliminate another stack, and then again another stack. So if you would be fighting all of them, of course, if I'm gonna, it's not gonna be basically a fight 12 versus 12. It's basically gonna be a fight of 36 versus 12, or let's say 48 hunter mechs against 24, and then it's gonna be 48 against 12, and then 48 against 12. So if he pushes into the big province, then he's gonna divert back. It will give me enough time, or should we give me enough time to deal with these 2 stacks, deal with this stack, and then kill what's behind it. Now the reason why I have 18 commandos in here is because I want to take the city. I don't want to take it immediately. I don't want to stop him from making a shot. I want him to make a shot, fire up the firestorm in either of these units. Of course I will take damage, I can have some losses, but in the end, if I would take the airport before he makes a fire, or before he lands for refueling, the unit will sees that he will be missing the airbase, and he will land somewhere else, either in a naval carrier or in maybe other airports. I don't want that to happen. I want him to refuel, because once he refuels, the units are changing, the air units are changing to cargo units. So flying fortresses, instead of 6 and having 1300 HP that I need to really hit a lot of the times with the interceptors and anti-units and whatnot, they turn into cargo, and cargo always have 30 HP, which means 6 of them will have 180 HP, and thus with my commandos, which have 180, only one stack of it can destroy entire stack. But like I said, I don't want to get twinkled, I don't want to get stuck in one province. So the whole idea is that I move in, move out. I don't want to stay in this province and wait for him to maybe send some reinforcements, or Good Hope to come with reinforcements and whatnot. So the idea is I enter with 18 commandos as he is leaving with the air units, and then I can kill them all, and basically he will never go for round 2. The second thing is, if I would have maybe dreadnoughts and a lot of units, and maybe highly advanced dreadnoughts with bigger range, I would maybe fear his naval control. In this, he only has observance. Now similarly, in the Balkan area, I see a lot of mechs, and that's where I have a lot of, let's say, units which are only meant to hold these guys for an hour or 2, and then basically I can kill them one by one. Again, firing from difficult terrain for the AMGs it's plus 50% to the damage, which means a stack of 6 AMGs do 150 damage against the mechanized troops, which means if I have 50 A1, that means I got around about 8 stacks. Now if I have 8 stacks of them, of doing 151 damage, I have 1200 damage that I will do every hour of the fight. So I will place them on the mountainous terrain. Luckily I have a lot of mountainous terrain and difficult terrain, and as you can see, he's got 930 HP. And most of them don't exceed this 1200. So it means that basically I will be able to every hour jump from one stack to another, which means in about 4 hours these stacks, roundabout these stacks, should disappear, and he will be only left with another half army. And then again, it will be the same premise. At this moment it will be these units fighting basically firstly this type of army and then this type of army. So if I would be just sitting behind, sitting right in the center of the provinces, he will be doing me damage, he will be able to reinforce these units. If I would base my game around the melee combat, he would be fighting with the firestorms and pushing me maybe inwards, and then we'll be able to make my army stuck and I wouldn't be able to move, and it would be just fierce battle, HP versus HP, which sometimes is good, but the fortresses, they are only good for the first shot, and that's their entire, the moment that they are inside of the province, and after the first shot they will damage the infrastructure and the fortresses will be gone. But I don't need them for the long, I just need them to stall the other armies for about 2 or 3 hours, so that I can block this side and use my artilleries to kill whatever is on the other side and basically swoop behind them. Now another mistake that they have done, I just used commandos like I explained for a stronger infantry. I didn't expect them to have a higher meaning. However, the mistake that they have done is they don't have a scout of level 7, which means they don't even see my commandos. I can be behind, they can for example push even into the city, I will leave it empty, he will take the city, then go north, and I can go back and take the city with a commando. Similarly, all across the front line, he will push here, up in the north, probably push here, probably push here, probably push here. I can stay with my commando roundabout here, and then basically move behind their backs, and as they take, I can take. What this means is that they will be on enemy terrain, and theoretically they will take territory, but practically within 2 or 3 hours they should lose entire Greece, they should be stuck with half an army. After 3 hours they should lose half of the Ethiopian army, and then after another 2 or 3 hours they will lose another half of an army, and then should be game over for them. So I don't expect a loss in here, even though on the paper they have very strong units, they have naval supremacy, they have similar numbers to me, but the preparation is very it's a key point. Let's say it's where usually the victories begin before, or let's say victories happen before the fight. Now how did I prepare such a vast amount as one nation? How can I have 490 units? It's very simple. So in Iron Order, if you create a unit which is a level 1 unit, for example, and you queue it in as a level 1 unit, it takes 1 hour to do. If you queue it in for 4 units and you improve your technological advancement into level 4, it will still, the queues will still work and produce units as if they were level 1. So if I would, for example, out of all of my level 2 heavy armories, I have 5 of them, I would be doing medium mechs, and I would set a queue of 5 of them, and each queues have 4. I would be able to do 25 medium mechs, even though I will start improving the research as I go along. The queues will still do, it will still cost in time and resources as though I'm doing a level 1 unit. But as the unit will be finished, it will be spit out as a level 4 unit if I have this researched. So my goal was always in Iron Order to keep the units at level 1 for as long as possible and only improve them to a level 4 when they are fighting. So there isn't so much of improvements if you improve it to level 2 or level 3. Usually you should hop between level 1, level 4 and then level 7. Sadly, if you increase to level 2, you double the production. Basically, you needed 2 hours, now you will need 4. You needed 4 hours, you will need 8. You needed 8 hours, you will need 16. And the way that you slow it down is, of course, you do a power plant of level 5. Now, when you're in the beginning phase, or even if you get to 1000 points, it's not like you can create 50 power plants level 5 and whatever the amount of units, or whatever the amount of buildings level 2. You keep it minimal. The resources are normally scarce. So that's why I tend to keep, for example, and when I was expanding mainly using artilleries, and I kept AMGs a bit hidden, let's say, from being a level 4, because I knew I will have to mass produce them later on. Similarly, I have skipped hunter mechs, and I knew that they will be on level 1 because they take quite a lot to do. So I was able to keep the costs for them lower, and thus I was able to create 50 of them or 60 of them and then move them into level 7. If I would just create or get them to level 7 and try to create a lot of units, I wouldn't be able to do that. A level 7 hunter mech from power plant level 5 gets done in 8 hours, and so I don't have the luxury of having 5 or 6 cities which have that type of morale, that type of power plant, that type of that. So I had to keep them low and then spam them. And once I know that I'm basically 1 day, 2 days before the fight, then I'm doing them to level 4 and then I'm doing them to level 7. So this is how I prepared all of my armies. Same goes for interceptors. I kept them at level 1 for the longest period of time, and then I can basically, from all of the airports that I have all around my nation, I can, even if I would keep them at level 1, I have 21 interceptors. If I have enough resources gathered, I can basically create 20, and if I queue 4 of them, I can create 100 interceptors within a day. If my resources and manpower allow it, I can do that. And of course, if I would have increased the level, the interceptors to level 4, as you can see, one interceptor level 4 is being done in 11 hours. But if I would have them at the level 1, it will be done in 2 hours. So getting interceptor from level 1 to level 4, it just takes you, I think, around about 9 hours or so in together. So it's not a big deal. You can always do that shortly before the fight. Okay, so I discussed about the airports, how they are scattered, how they are protected by anti-air units, how flying fortress are scattered and out of vision, waiting with commandos, waiting with hunter mechs, the general idea, how do I kill them, how do I try to move. Similar in here, I could have just 12 for 12, but I want this to be done as soon as possible. So I have 277 damage, about 1000 if you consider that one of these stacks will do also a defensive damage. You have about 1000, which means I should be here stuck for about maybe 2 hours from the first shot of a melee combat and then a second round. So I should be only here for 2 hours, and then I would be able to, with the railroads, to travel back into the within 1 hour and a half to the front line to help the others. One more thing, of course, that helped me enormously. Of course, free nations have access to much bigger economy and thus much more manpower. But the way that I was able to cap it is, of course, that hunter mechs are costing less of manpower than it is to the other nation. So it cost me 330 manpower. Usually it would cost me 700 or 600 and whatever, and then 800 and whatever. So the way that I was supported, of course, in here is also with a bit of resources from Russian America, a bit of resources from Morocco, a bit of resources of Czechoslovakia. I don't feel like this is cheating because, like I said, Point of information: these red points are the points of the units. If you give the same order for the other unit, he will merge automatically, which means, let's say there is a unit in a city and I want to hit it. If I even split half of these units and I will give them the same, let's say, order, soon they will merge because they have the same orders, they are going into the same direction. So if you want to hit and avoid them splitting with one another, then you can simply give a couple of orders. So first and foremost, you do the hold fire so that they don't fire at the enemy, even if they are the same. And if the enemy will be in the firing range, let's say here I can, let's say he's my enemy, I want them all to shoot from the same distance, because one anti-air unit can protect all of these stacks. I don't need 50 anti-air units to protect all of them. Let's say all of them are shooting then, let's say at this unit. I can give all of them, let's say I can split them up. This is just an example, so of course I will split them up 6 by 6 because this is equivalent of 6 units, and then I can switch to offensive, and then they will all fire from the stance, but they will not merge because they have all different orders to go different places. So as long as you keep it that in mind, you will not lose your strike. So of course each of them, if I split them up into the stacks of 6 and I have 8 stacks, I do 1200. If I do a mistake where from one place I fire into one, they will merge together, which means their reload will merge together and only stack of 1 will fire. So this is a crucial part of micromanagement. Similarly, if you have a firestorm, for example this is a landship, and the enemy units or melee units are coming in, you have to wait. You select your armies just before he goes inside of the territory, like 1 centimeter or above. You can select the attack button so that you attack, and then your red dot will be outside of their red dot. So the red dot will be here, you will be here, which means if you fire a landship, a firestorm, often you do damage to your units and enemy units. If however your firestorm is target round about here, so you see that my red dot is outside of the fire range, but if he would be caught 1 centimeter apart from my unit, the firestorm will do a damage to his units and won't do to mine. So this is a trick, another trick. Similarly, if for example the bombers will fire from the naval carrier, he can move, of course, and he will reload, and it's almost as if it's a airstrip level 3 because it's a level 3 carrier, so huge or quick refuel time. However, he will also turn to cargo as he will refuel, so I will wait for him to hit, and then I will hit back the cargo units. I have 88 damage in my bombers, so it will take 2 bombers to basically hit his bombers and eliminate him from the game. So the war has started, and I will pause and then continue, just to not bore you with 3 or 4 hours of fighting, and I will try to squeeze it all in one go. So the war is on. Let's see how it will go. Already you can see a mistake. This one goes 50 minutes, this one goes 1 hour and 10 minutes, which means if my army can move there in about, let's say 22 minutes, I can basically keep it hanging round about here. The moment he connects, he's not able to retreat, he's not able to get in timely manner, he has only 1000 HP. I can even destroy his stack of 6 units before he reaches, and then instead of fighting 2 stacks of 2000 HP, I now will be fighting 2 stacks of 1000 HP. So will be much easier to kill. So make sure that you got all of the units leveled up, because right now Hunter Mech is making the units much slower. Now if I patrol over Kiev with 4 of my stacks, they have 75 defense, which means they have around about 300 defense in total together. I will patrol. If he really attacks inside of the queue, all 300 damage will be dealt to this, and only after he deals the damage, I can, as he will retreat to the airfield, I will be able to hit him and then take the offensive damage, which is another 300 or 400 power. So one of these stacks will be dead anyway, or they will be very badly damaged. As they return, they will turn to cargo. The cargo will have 50% of HP, so instead of in total 1,500 HP, they will be turned to, well, automatically 15 units have round about 450 HP. They will have round about 225, which means I will be able to just shoot them with 2 of those flying fortress, even if they are level 4, and they will do 48 damage. And also I have bombers nearby to basically finish the job, and should be able to just kill all of the 15 bombers just like it is. Now I expected him to attack with the flying fortress from somewhere else, or let's say to attack the closer units rather than long way. This is not so practical, because right now if I just enter the enter the city, they will all return to the nearby airfield. So I wanted them to actually make the hit into this, make a hit into my units, so that I can basically take it afterwards. So I have to wait 47 minutes, or actually I have to wait 1.5 hours till they actually make a hit, and then do that. Either I do this, or I take the city, and then I will see where they are returning, and then I will fire on that area. And I think actually I will do that. The commandos are working their way behind the lines. Now I split my AMGs and I switch offensive stance. And just like that, they are all firing onto this squad, thus making it disappear. And as of course they have damaged and killed one of the units before he even reached it, they were able, or some of them were able, to shoot again, and also done additional damage to this stack. Now this stack, that's why I split them out all like this. So their aim was to withstand basically 3 or 4 hours of fighting, so that I can do another damage. I wanted them to squeeze through the middle so that I can kill them individually. Now I can press stop so that they all merge. And now as you can see, I have all of them in one stack, protected by 1 AA. I have 124 damage, which means if the bombers would decide to strike me, for example, they have 80 damage, I have 120 defense against them, 5,500 HP, so it's not a problem. Now if I would split all of my AMGs to tackle all of them individually, of course I would have to have 60 anti-air guns, but with this type I can only have 6 and I protect all of them. Now he has given a hit, but I was too late to even react, because I was focusing on something else. He will run away, and now he cannot change his destination of airport, so he has to land on a naval carrier where I can kill his cargo. So this is what I was mentioning. If you click on the bomber as he was refueling, I captured the city. He turned into cargo, 30 units, 30 HP, so 119, which means I can now highlight my commando, make a shot against them, and then they should be gone. Yep. Simulating here, I entered into combat with a melee type. Now in here I was too late to click on them and basically attack the heavy mechs. There's too much going on, so I couldn't do that, so I will just wait. Because right now he just dealt, or I just dealt him around about 600 damage, which means he got 337. I cannot allow him to connect with the other guys, which means I have to speed up my units so that they will smash through this before he can join, before the HP can join, and then I can deal with them one by one. And he's refueling as well. He got 28 minutes of refuel, and just like I said, he's got 30 HP, so he's turning into cargo. It doesn't mean, normally the mistake that he's doing is that you're supposed to keep the naval carriers actually far away, so it's a movable airbase, so you can move with the naval carriers towards, and then you can hit the airport, and then you can basically keep on going back, for example here, so that they can refuel in safety. But he doesn't do that, so I'm going to be able to hit. There's nothing that he can do, or he would have to have interceptors, which are basically patrolling above the airfield, but he doesn't do that. Now the second thing, because I have taken this airport, his flying fortress is now coming back, and I know that this is where the next airfield is, and also next airfield is here. So I am highlighting my flying fortress so that he goes there. It will take 35 minutes to transfer here. Most likely it's a level 1 airstrip, so it will be half an hour for that. So it's around about 1 hour and 5 minutes till he can fly again, so till his units will turn from cargo to a flying unit. Now it says that it will take me about 51 minutes to get there, which means I should be there in time to basically obliterate his entire flying fortresses. If he's got 6, that will be 180, it will damage and kill his airport, so I will kill at least 2 flying fortresses as a hit, and then the firestorm will do the rest. Same day here I have 3 flying fortresses, and these 3 flying fortresses will have to first and foremost put the fuel in here. I will be able to make 3 hits and basically kill the 3 flying fortresses in here. So they had more bombers than I did, they had more flying fortresses than I did, and without killing them through the interceptors, I will kill them at their landing. So in order to defend from that, you should have in all of your airports that you fly in from a level 2, level 3 and fortress, and also a level 6 or level 7 of anti-air unit, and then in addition, for example, 2 or 3 or 4 patrolling interceptors, so that you can have, for example, a hit like that with 2 flying fortresses. They have 480. You should be able to then basically do huge amount of damage. If you build an airstrip on a difficult terrain where the anti-air guns have the difficulty, the bonus of the defenses raised, that's even raising it up above. So just like here, I have an airstrip level 2, fortress level 2, and then I'm able to do 124 damage. If I would have a level 7, that would be over a 200 damage, so it means that he would be able to make a hit, but at a sacrifice of all the flying fortresses. So because they don't have defenses, I can basically roam free and delete them one by one. This is exactly what I was talking about. I have then selected the melee fighting so that their red dots are farther away from me. So right now I can just attack them. Even by a millimeter there is a split, that is enough. So if I look directly into where the orange is going, it should be fine. So right now his dots are within the circle, my dots are outside of the circle, at least most of them. So Firestorm will do damage to them, but they will not do any damage to me. So now he has stopped with naval carrier. I was afraid that he will move out of the range, but he didn't. I was making a video, so I wasn't paying attention, so this is what will happen. Flying Fortress is also a cargo, as you can see. So now he's got only 70 HP instead of 1000, and now I can hit it with the bombers. Now we can't see my commandos, so they are about to be done as well, because I will have 189 damage against them. He doesn't see me even coming at them. Again, if you would have level 7 scouts, you will be able to see it. Now it seems that my flying fortress will take a lot longer, so 1 hour, because they are level 4, not level 5. But it doesn't matter, we'll have to return, refuel for half an hour, which means it's about 38 minutes, and then he's gonna make the long travel to hit my units. By that time I will be already by the airport. I can split and use 1 flying fortress to kill his airstrip, which means that his units will go back to another airfield, or go back and turn to cargo if he doesn't have any more airfields. But if he does have any other airfield, the 6 units will go back to other airfield, where I can, with the 1 remaining flying fortress, follow him and basically kill him. As I know that the bombers are mostly dead, I'm a bit more careless when it comes to splitting those tanks. I can keep them all around, because if he doesn't have air units, bombers or such, then I can roam free without anti-air units. He still has 10 bombers, so he's still a formidable force, but he's still got 8 minutes to reload and, or let's say refuel, and then he has to go to me. So I will be able to make a shot and then merge them back together. Now normally I wouldn't be so careless with my units, with my anti-air units that I would probably leave behind, because they are light units, but because I know that I have grounded a lot of their bombers and most of their air force, I know that I will not use them, or I will not need them. I rather them lose HP or them losing units rather than my hunter mix, which I will need later on. Now the Firestorm does 4.5 damage per 5 minutes, so I've got 2 Firestorms, 9 damage, which means 18 damage in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes he can fly, but he will not be able to take off because he will be dead. So that's the way to do it. Now he's fighting and firing with the bombers onto the anti-air guns. At this moment he will do basically round about 58, okay, round about 120 damage, but I should be able to combine them together. Even if I won't, one of them will take the damage. It's not a big deal. And that's it. Similar to naval battle. Now because they have moved, or they have split a bit of the navy, they have split it around about here, also here, a bit of here, a bit in here, and they are losing the naval carriers. I am able to basically move my navy right now inside of the Mediterranean, place my the biggest bulk, let's say here, just for the HP, so that there's only one way inside, which means the moment all of my navy enters, I can block it here. If you would be able to, or if you would like to, enter it to support the naval units, he's unable. He will have to storm through my 500 HP, and because I'm winning most of my battles in here, I'm about to have my artilleries released, and I will be able to use them elsewhere. So right now I can shift them to the other side where the main battlefield will happen by that time, and then these units are okay to fight with them. Basically, I will be able to use the artilleries to support fire from here, all my landships and such. And as he's scattered, I am able to use all my navies. Generally, I have less amount of naval units than they have together. But if I beat them, that would make it equal, and I should be able to, basically with level 1 units, obliterate their units. So I've beaten them on the right side. I'm able to move all of my units in here. So previously he was outnumbering me, right now the numbers are even. Now he's done it correctly, block 6 heavy mechs, because this way my commando cannot go through. If he would start moving, then I would be able to conquer it. So at this moment he's doing it correctly, but of course I have beaten one set of heavy mechs, like I said, within 2 hours, and now I'm able to push into here and basically smash them all, just to divert out and kill these units here. Time them two will reach the province, it will not matter, because they will be on the run. They were taking constant damage as mine weren't, so they were getting weaker, and plus they don't have a lot of anti-mech firepower, just like I do, and so they get shredded to pieces as well. Now I did lose 15 units from the beginning of the war. They have lost around about 70, but from now on it will be much easier because I am about to get rid of the rest of the air units. Without air units I can split my mechanized anti-mech guns, and I don't need to engage them as much. Once I kill the navy, it should be all wrapped up, and within the next 5 hours should all be dead. And just like that, the remaining units will be dead. And it looks like they gave up, so I will go with further material. I will pick and kill them one by one, using the same tactics as I have done before. And there we go, 63, 100, 133, it's about 300 units killed. And these are the 13 units that I have lost as I have fought against them. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video. Just a quick summary of the deaths of the casualties. In total, they have lost 222,000, and I have lost 50,000. 4.5 KD, which is worse than my normal, but was worth the fun. And I ended it in 6 hours instead of 12 or 24. Kind regards, and have fun. Just a quick summary of the deaths of the casualties. In total, they have lost 222,000, and I I've lost 50,000. 4.5 KD, which is worse than my normal, but was worth the fun. And I ended it in 6 hours instead of 12 or 24. Kind regards, and have fun.